Alright, so going into match number 5, I am so excited for this match because it's featuring OGS Ensnare against Startail July Zerg. I just add on the July Zerg. I know it's July, but I've always known him as July Zerg from StarCraft Brood War. And of course, I'm with Caldor. Yo, man, how excited are you for this match?
This is going to be great. This is going to be really, really amazing. Last week I was a little bit unhappy about the match between Whitera and July Zerg, but this actually is even better. I love the matchup. I love Zerg versus Terran, and it's going to be on 10 minutes 3. And we have July Zerg starting as the blue Zerg at the 6 o'clock start position, and to his right the Terran player just spawned at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, and you know, it's a battle of the Koreans. I'm really excited because July Zerg, he's one of my fan favorites. Now, I've been such a fan of him ever since the Brood War days. I've said that before. But to see him playing first person in StarCraft 2 is something that not many people get to do. And of course, Terran versus Zerg, I get to see July Zerg. Yeah, of course. Well, July Zerg. I'll just say July Zerg. July Zerg, and he favors this sort of mass units. He likes to cut at around 50, 60 drones, which isn't normal for, well, our standard for the foreign scene. So it's going to introduce a new style. I'm really excited to see it.
Yeah, definitely. And this matchup might be one of the most balanced matchups in this game right now, a little bit depending on the map, of course. But we have right now 2 overlords already scouting, one to the left, one to the right. So both players are just starting to scout their opponent. We have Ensnare with his barracks at the bottom of the ramp. So he will try to wall off his expansion and just make a wall in order to build his orbital command, the second one.
Ooh, actually a second barracks is going down for Ensnare, and it did look like he cut SCVs for that. He did cut, well, until he had enough minerals. So he's making a lot of pressure in this early game stage, looking to pressure up on July Zerg that has gone a 15 hatch. It's going to be up to July Zerg's micro, but I love this. Drone scout, boom, coming in, gonna see the 2 barracks and be like, hey, what's going on? Oh wait, I need to get out of here. Go back to my base and start defending, and yes, that's what he does.
He doesn't actually know where he starts, so Ensnare right now has no idea if his opponent is really starting at the 6 o'clock or maybe he might be starting cross. And usually when you play against the Terran player as a Zerg, you can go for the 15 hatch, you can definitely defend that, as probes are fast enough to put some pressure on the early Marines and try to just put 1 or 2 probes on the SCV in order to prevent the bunker. July Zerg nearly is about to finish his spawning pool. Well, now takes some time, and we have the bunker being placed for OGS Ensnare, and here are a lot of drones killing off the SCV. There's only 1 Marine, and July Zerg tries to kill all those workers as fast as possible, and Ensnare with some nice micro repairing his SCV. I like that quite a lot. There are already 3 Marines out, and he's losing a lot of drones, and that's something that you shouldn't let happen if you're a Zerg player. If you lose too many drones, then the game is already over and he loses all of them.
All of them for only 1 Marine. Now 8 Zerglings are on the way out, but this bunker over here that was not cancelled, I love that. He actually stood that there and microed everything while still having that. I would have cancelled it, but I'm a lesser player than Ensnare, and now 8 Zerglings come out here, but the bunker will finish. That is great timing. All 4 Marines get in there, and it looks like July Zerglings, I should just say July Zerglings are dwindling down number, catching 2 Marines out in the open. Ensnare trying to do a little bit of micro, but he will not be able to do anything more. And now these 4 Marines, oh, they can get a little bit cheeky. Oh, but the bunker finishes in time. That is a huge hit.
Yeah, he can't kill the bunker, not with the SCVs right there, but the spine crawler is about to finish, and he might be able to take the bunker out with the help of the Zerglings. The Zerglings just attack the SCVs. 1 SCV is down, and the bunker will fall. Oh, 1 SCV repairing, and there comes the GG!
GG! Wow, so July Zerg losing the first game in a matter of minutes. I mean, I think he was a little bit cheeky, to be honest, with his spawning pool. He got a later spawning pool. He didn't get the 14 spawning pool. He got a 15, which delays his timing a little bit, and that 2 racks rush just was too much. On top of that, his spine crawler was 1 hex too far up, and spine crawlers generally outrange the bunkers, but he misplaced it. It was in range of the Marines and was able to go down. And meanwhile, you know, all of his Marines inside were fine. His Zerglings were dead. He was just in terrible position.
Yeah, actually, July Zerg did a good job early on at just trying to prevent that first bunker, but later he lost too many workers to those Marines, and a nice micro by Ensnare, by the way. One thing I wanted to mention, but then basically all that action happened, is what you would when you were talking about the bunker. If you don't need the minerals, you, as a Terran player, you will cancel the bunker as late as possible, because if you cancel it, it actually costs you money, but if you build it and salvage it, you get all of it back. So that's a small thing that if you have the minerals, if you don't need them at that particular point in time, you will try to keep the bunker alive and to finish it in order to salvage it. It gives you a small edge over your opponent, but it's one thing that you should always keep in mind. It's a little bit weird though. I mean, cancelling a bunker costs you money, and if you rebuild it and it's about to die but you salvage it, you get it back. So it's a little bit weird.
Well, I thought July Zerg prepared for it brilliantly, actually, sending those drones out. But let's just talk about Ensnare's micro for a little bit. Ensnare had 3 Marines and 2 SCVs and microed all of those drones. There were probably 8 drones, 7 or 8, I do believe.
He killed
every single one of them. That, I didn't think that was a winning fight, but somehow he lost 1 Marine. He was like, okay, I'll take that trade. 1 Marine, 8 drones. Sounds pretty reasonable.
I mean, Ensnare was a little bit lucky with the positions, but you were perfectly right. July Zerg shouldn't have gone for that delayed pool. If he would have built the pool right after his expansion, he could have been able to place the spine crawler a little bit earlier and would have been able to defend against the initial push. The thing is that Zerg tends to be a little bit greedy, especially in the matchup against Terran, and well, that basically was his downfall. He tried to overdraw and tried to delay that pool a little bit and had to pay for it in the end.
I completely agree. And so there we have it. Ensnare is up 1-0. Let's go ahead and get into game number 2 of this week 2 division number 2 match. Starting into match number 2, rather game number 2 of this match 5, it is OGS Ensnare going up against ST July. Ensnare up 1-0. Now going to be fighting on Crossfire SC. Now we could see the same exact build we saw last game, but before I get into that too much, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about these players and the positions. There's a lot to talk about them, actually. But in the bottom left-hand corner, we have, as the red Terran, OGS Ensnare, and the top right-hand corner, ST July spawning as the blue Zerg. So, Caldor, we have, you know, they know each other's positions. They know there can be a very, very aggressive start from the Terran player, especially seeing from last game. I mean, Terminus Re was quite a big map. Now we're on Crossfire, and it's all the more easy to get that double racks and pressure up an expansion. I mean, if you're in July's position, I know you are a Zerg player, you are a seasoned Zerg player as well. What's going on in your mind when you're July?
Well, actually, the thing is that what we talked about already, I think that on this map it's a little bit harder for the Terran to pressure that much because the distances are a little bit bigger than on the spawns on the last map. What I was a little bit surprised about in Ensnare was that he actually went for the play without knowing where his opponent started. So he just assumed that he would go not only for the 15 hatch, but maybe for a delayed pool as well. And July will go for the 15 hatch again. I'm pretty sure about that. I don't see him going for a gas and a pool again. He will go for that expansion, but he might just build the pool a little bit earlier this time, just in order to be on the safe side. And as a Zerg player, you usually get that 15 hatch against a Terran player. You don't do it against Protoss, but as against a Terran player, it's usually pretty safe. And I have to confess that when July pulled all those drones off, I thought he will be able to defend this.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit surprised. I mean, Ensnare showed some amazing micro. Once again, people have been complaining about Marines for ages, and I have to agree. As a Zerg player, I have to agree. Marines are too strong.
Nah. You don't know what you're talking about.
Nah.
We do see Ensnare actually putting down a refinery first, and then a barracks, indicative of a very fast factory. We're going to see a factory being shot up immediately, and there it goes down. So he is getting fast Hellions, I would say. Do keep in mind, there's a little bit of room in here. He can get a tech lab. He can get a reactor if he wants to. So we could be seeing very fast Hellion play. No longer any form of gas, but he's still mining from his refinery. So he could be still transitioning. Oh, there it goes. Reactor down. Now, it's not going to be in time for the factory to come out, but for the second round of Hellions, it will be out. And now we can see Ensnare seeing what's up. Are you going to place like a bunker or anything? Be a little tricky. I don't think you are. No, he's not. And July is just going to simply take his expansion easily.
Yeah, and July is in the meantime harvesting gas as well, so he will go for the speed. He has his first Zerglings out on the map, is trying to deny that scout SCV, killing it off right now, and of course getting his first queen. And I'm really interested of what Ensnare is doing after his Hellions. If he's going to transition into Benjis, he's getting a second gas right now and is building a starport. And of course, July Zerg has to expect Hellions. He has to expect Hellions. He's also already scouting, so he should go for well, he doesn't need to go for a spine crawler as he's already building his Roach Warren. So Roach Warren being built, I think he will be really safe against those Hellions.
Yeah, I think so, but again, the starport tech is pretty scary. Oh no, poor tree, destroying the environment those Hellions are, but we can see these Hellions, they're going to give him map control. That's the big thing. There is nothing else to retain map control for the Zerg until roaches are out. And momentarily they will be out. The Queen gets up here and just denying these Hellions from getting in. But, oh no, the drones are under fire. We can see one drone, it will go down, and it looks like some of these Zerglings will be toasted momentarily. I love this play, though, taking advantage of the very open natural. Two more Hellions join up, but Roach is able to scatter those Hellions like ants when you thrust your fist onto an ant colony.
And July Zerg is apparently attacking his opponent. He's moving in with all those roaches, and that reminds me a little bit of Cat's style of playing. Cat used to play a style where he goes for an expansion without queens and just tries to attack the Terran opponent with 5 to 6 initial roaches. But his attack is a lot earlier than July's attack, and I don't think he will be able to do much damage as the Benji is about to be in the game. But there are no SCVs for Ensnare. Ensnare doesn't repair his supply depot. There are the SCVs not there in time. The supply depot goes down. Here come the roaches for July Zerg, immediately picking off SCVs. And of course all those Hellions have to retreat as well. But the Benji will put an end to that harass, but to what cost?
Yes, we're going to see a lot of SCVs drop momentarily as now 20 harvesters. It looks like the Hellions will be cleaned up as well. The Banshee does an exceptional amount of damage. And oh, this Roach almost gets the Mule. This is a fresh Mule as well. So if he was able to pick that off, that would have been mighty nice. But we do see, I love this play, Evolution Chamber and Spore Crawler down for July Zerg. Do keep in mind that July Zerg has no lair up yet, so he doesn't have the ability to push out anymore. Cloak will be up momentarily. Queens will give him the ability to defend, but for now, complete map control to OGS Ensnare.
We have July Zerg with the first Spore Crawlers and the first Creep Tumor, so he started to spread his creep. He has 2 queens, 3 queens, and what he should do in my opinion is just make sure that those 2 bases are connected with creep. He should place another tumor, which is probably what he's doing right now with the queens. No, he doesn't, and I actually don't like that. If you know that there are Banshees out there, then Spore Crawler or not, I think it's the right move to connect your bases with creep, as those queens are just way too slow when they're off creep.
Yeah, I completely agree. And now, shelling out a little bit of damage, we can see the Queen that has more mana is going to be targeted down. It does go down. That's a really nice pick-off. And I would love it, as you said before, if he got the creep spread to connect, but not going to have that. So there's a lot of little play that can go on if there was a follow-up, let's say, Hellion and... Oh, actually, Hellion and... a Hellion drop, but hold that thought. Ensnare pushing out, you sneaky guy, with a nice group of Marines and tanks. This is absolutely a timing push, and I don't think July Zerg will be prepared for this. As gonna kill one of the Banshees. One Banshee gets picked off, but this other Queen is under fire. He needs to back up a little bit, and we do see on the production tab just a ton of Zerglings coming out, and it looks like Ensnare trying to get up on creep, but now the Zerglings are afoot and going straight into the huge amount of Marines and tanks. Does look like they're going to be taken down immediately. Drones engaged as well. However, that is the big problem, as July is losing a ton of drones from this engagement.
Yeah, definitely. And that Banshee helped out a lot as well. He has 13 kills already. There comes another tank. One is sieged up on the high ground. And July Zerg once again was playing a little bit too greedy. He had a lot of drones. He didn't have a lot of units. And he has to pay the price for this play. He concentrated on his economy. He had a Baneling nest as well, but he doesn't have the time to actually morph the Banelings. 15 kills for the Banshee being a captain right now. And 2 siege tanks in place. Beautiful position for OGS Ensnare, and I can't believe what I'm seeing right here. He's taking the game with such ease. It's incredible.
Yes, and July Zerg scrambling to get any amount of mutas out, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Ensnare in fantastic position as this one hatchery, the expansion hatchery, goes down, and now the Mutalisk just goes into obliteration as it moves over all of these Marines. And the Banshee, the hero Banshee, I do have to say, it's definitely made its worth, as it has 17 kills and is being repaired, rightfully so.
Yep,
as
indeed.
more units just stream in, and I don't see any way for July. Actually, July making the big move with Zerglings and 1 Muta.
Oh,
but
big move.
That's his big move, sir. That is his big move.
Yeehaw. Now the thing is, he also screwed his waypoints up a little bit. He had the waypoint still in midst of the Terran army after the fight, so one Mutalisk was directly picked off by all those Marines as it was venturing into the Terran army, which was, well, basically pointless.
Yep, so GG and 2-0 for July Zerg.
Ensnare takes it 2-0 July Zerg without a chance at all on the last map. I liked his play, his initial play when he was focusing on roaches to counter those Hellions.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually expect him to lose that clearly to Ensnare. Ensnare with a beautiful job right there.
Well, a couple things about July. I think the problem, one of the problems was he actually kept reinforcing with roaches. Well, he only did it once actually, but he did the one round of roaches. He knew the Banshee was up, and then he sent more roaches in, and it was only like 2 or 3, but still, that's minerals that could have gone into a faster layer, more units, anything like that, but he just threw them away. And rather than doing that, just make sure you're strong against Banshee and prepare for some sort of all-in. Now, it could be either an all-in or it could have been an expansion. You have to keep an eye on that. Obviously, it was an all-in by Ensnare, but rightfully so. I mean, that was a great timing to push in. July Zerg was not ready for it. I keep saying whatsoever, but he wasn't ready for it at all.
The thing is, after the roach push, I checked the worker count, how many workers he killed, and July Zerg was only able to kill 4 SCVs.
Yeah.
I was surprised by that, because I expected him to have killed a lot more. It just looked like he killed at least 10 of them, but he only managed to kill 4 SCVs, and that was about it. So the economy of Ensnare was, well, in a really good shape after that. And 1 mule, and he was ahead in SCVs in the start, but then July Zerg just overdroned a little bit, didn't expect that push. He had the Baneling nest up, but there were no Banelings. He didn't have the time to morph them, and with the Banelings, well, there were the tanks, so I'm not too sure the Banelings would really have made a difference.
Well, I think the one blunder I think for July was he targeted the Hellions when the roaches were inside his opponent's base. He targeted the Hellions when he should have been targeting some SCVs instead. That would have affected the economic loss much more so. And the Hellions are kind of useless when roaches are out. On top of that, I think he should have attached his his bases together, so he didn't have to make 4 queens. He could have stuck with 3 queens and just been super strong. He didn't need to make the extra queen, which slowed him down a little bit. So that had something to do with it. And also a spore colony where his first queen died. If he placed one right there, in almost like the connecting path of all the places, it would have kept him much stronger against any Banshee play in that area, zoned out Banshees, and made sure that the Terran had to attack much sooner on. But of course, July Zerg did end up losing that match, and it brings him to an 0-2. So Ensnare's going to take that game. So big congrats to him. He's 1-1 in the series, and so is July Zerg. Both Koreans are 1-1. And that's going to do it for today. But I want to give a couple of huge shout-outs. Again, if you guys like this, go on Facebook, check us out. It is www.facebook.com/NASLTV, and Twitter.com. It's twitter.com/NASLTV as well. Go like us, friend us, follow us, because all the support, we are the community, and we're trying to give the best product to you guys. That's why we have people like Caldor coming in and casting with me. It's awesome. We're going to have tons of guest casters along with us, just getting their not only their competitive insight, but their strength in every single form of casting. So again, a huge thanks to you, Caldor, as well. I'm looking at the screen, looking at you, but of course I should be looking at this. A huge thanks to you, Caldor. Additionally, we do want to thank wellplayed.org. That is our community website. If you want to talk about NASL, go to wellplayed.org. That's sort of our home base where we talk about things, announce things, whatever it might be. Also, Underline Entertainment is one of the big thanks that we have to get out to them. They've been helping us, giving us a little bit of content, and you know, they've been absolutely awesome. And last but not least, sc2builds.com. They've helped us out with the maps, and we're going to be changing up the maps a little bit. And they're going to be a huge pivotal key thing in just developing them, and we're striving to be better and better, and don't worry, things will be much better. This can only go up, which is awesome, because I think it's already been absolutely amazing. And if you enjoyed the stream and want to see us get bigger and better, please look to see if you are interested in purchasing HD Pass. Along with that, you can get all the VODs, all the content, and additionally, you can watch a 1080 stream, which would be absolutely fantastic. So do check that out. You can check out all information on www.nasltv. And again, I can't thank you enough, Caldor. Thank you so much. Do you have any last words, sir?
I have to thank you for the opportunity to cast with you. It was fun as ever, and I hope we'll cast again in the future.
I'm sure we will, sir. And that will do it for today. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you tomorrow.